All right, I think we're there. So welcome. This is NFL Week 11. Back with Alex Campman, Charles Wormsby here to discuss the slate and see what we got going on. Let me make sure I got my screen shared out here so we can take
How
a look.
you, how you doing, Charles?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, it's good to chat again. So we're going to run a few things through first, just to kind of, can you see my screen now?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's good. All right.
there we
So
go.
we're going to run through a few things. So first thing that Al wanted to start with here, which I think is a good idea, which is to take a look at our NCAA football picks. They've been super red hot. I mean, winning like more than 2 out of 3 times. It's crazy.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Like an
72%.
unprecedented number, 72. It's insane.
Yeah, it's really insane. We've hit a little kind of niche here with the picks and the profitability kind of predictions because these are wildly profitable. So for our members, I mean, this is kind of a members only show. At least it's going to morph into that as we kind of continue to build it out. But if you're a member already today, you want to go over and click follow here. So if you go to either the all systems or machine systems, one of these two, you'll see, just kind of look for NCAA football picks here and just click follow. And when you click follow, as long as you have your notifications set up in your account settings, so I went to user account settings right here and then click notifications. And then you can add your phone number. And obviously we already have your email address if you're signed up. So what that means is when you click follow here, you'll get text messages, push notifications, and email messages when this system makes picks, right? Is that clear out?
Yeah, no, it's perfect. I just wanted to make sure everybody that's on SK was just aware of how well this is performing, because there's just real opportunity to make some money here. I mean, just no question about it. So definitely follow Chuck's instructions on getting the notifications. Yeah, and take down some bets. That's what we're trying to do.
Right on. So the other thing we wanted to mention, kind of if you want to get, so we're going to go over the NFL slate today. So if you go to our premium picks area, so again, you can click all systems or machine systems, and then kind of just, what I like to do is just put the word premium in here as a little search box here. And then same thing here. If you see spread knowledge premium, you can click follow right here on the right side. And as long as your notifications are set up, when Al and I make picks today, essentially to kind of go through the NFL slate, you'll automatically be getting text message, email message, and push notifications to your devices of choice once we submit these picks for the premium area. So is that kind of clear too? I mean, is there any questions about that?
No, I think it's very clear.
Okay. So the third thing we wanted to kind of touch on before we hop into the slate is that, we mentioned that this has kind of become a members only kind of video cast that we're going to hopefully move to Twitch and ultimately kind of work into our own type of kind of live stream environment that kind of works really well for our members. So in the process of getting there, we're going to include multiple different types of shows, right? So right now we're doing an NFL show with Al's help. Probably we'll do some college basketball shows as we get into that in the winter. And then beyond that, next year, we're looking to start a golf kind of show as well, which Al would be an integral part of. And we'll go over like 2-ball, 3-ball matchup type stuff pretty heavily. We'll use a lot of the trend-based historical systems, data points that we use today to predict profitability. And, we think there's a lot of margin in those kind of head-to-head 2-ball, 3-ball matchups where we can squeeze some value out of those matchups. And, it's going to be, kind of, I don't know a lot of folks that are out there doing it. There's probably some, but our model really fits very well for that type of matchup relationship. So, we're kind of looking forward to that and expect that probably, I would think, in the early springtime, like, March-ish, when kind of the seasons start to get warm and stuff. Al, do you have anything?
Yeah, just at golf. We're going to be adding golf to the site, so really excited about that. And there's a ton of value. There's a ton of opportunities out there to bet golf, and as we grow, those opportunities will be available. But certainly, what you were suggesting about the way we track data right now does lend itself very well for a number of the prop and head-to-head stuff that golf has available. So we're going to try and just continue to do what we do best and just create value and opportunities for profitable betting, and golf will be just another way we can do that.
Nice.
So yeah, very excited about that. Excited to do that show. I'm a big golfer. Charles is a golfer too. We both have young kids, so we don't certainly play as much as we like to, but like to follow it. I do some DFS golf personally, so I do keep up with it, and definitely we'll have a lot of insights to share with the users once we get there.
Neat. Yeah, I look forward to doing that together. All right, so let's switch gears here, and we'll start to kind of pick apart the slate. You want to just go top down, or do you have some other type of method?
No, let's do it. We're going to try and keep this shorter because last time we went a little long. The other thing that I found is the machine picks have been getting better and better and better, right? So as the data for the season, now we're into 9, 10, we're into the 11th week now. We're seeing the A's and B's continue to perform well, but now perform extremely well. So I've switched a lot of my gears a little bit towards focusing really on A's and B's exclusively as much as I can. I like to go all over the place. I like to take C's and D's sometimes because, I think I'm smarter than machines. Turns out I'm not. Surprise. And so today we're going to look at a lot of the high grades. And let's start with New Orleans. So this New Orleans, Atlanta against the spread, the grade value A we have there. So this spread has been plummeting because of the injury to Drew Brees and the announcement that they're not going to start Jameis Winston. They're going to start Taysom Hill. So this has gone, the value here for sure is in the A. This has dropped from a 7-point spread down to 3.5, basically on the quarterback news. As far as I can tell, there's probably obviously other reasons depending on the money is moving it. So we know that, but why is the money moving it? I think it's because of that. And for me, I like the A. I don't think Taysom Hill is going to have too much trouble here. I don't think the Saints are going to have too much trouble. Atlanta's been playing better, but I don't think that's a very high bar. So I'm going with the machine. Give me the A, even with this quarterback news. Okay. That's what I like. That's what I like there. I'll keep us rolling a little bit. Cincinnati and Washington, I have no interest. This is like one of these games where I just stay away. Too wacky, two terrible football teams. If anybody was, inclined to go with the B with Washington, you would have to know something that I don't, and that certainly could be the case. But for me, I just stay away from this kind of thing. So looking at Detroit and Carolina, so we don't have the totals populated here. We'll look into that. I'm not sure why that's the case, but Detroit is the A, and this is a fairly good price, right? So I think what we've been seeing from Carolina is a team that's sputtering, and they've got a lot of injuries. The defense hasn't been playing well, but Carolina has been, Teddy Bridgewater has consistently been covering spreads, but that trend has been moving in the wrong direction. He's not been covering as many spreads. So I would be very comfortable with this A here. I think it's a very fair price. It's almost even money. And Carolina will certainly have their hands full with Detroit that is coming on a bit. Stafford's been playing well. They're going to be able to run the ball. Carolina's got a lot of injuries. So again, I'd be very comfortable with that. It's not my favorite place to be on the board. I want to say that. There's lots of other things to get a little bit more excited about, but again, I'm comfortable with the A here.
On the road,
Yeah, that's another thing. That one's definitely something that I did notice that it is on the road and it's a road favorite, but Machine likes it, and I think that there's good reason to like it here. Carolina's certainly sputtering. They're not going to have Christian McCaffrey. They're not being able to run the ball, and there's just a lot of injuries. So I think it's reasonable. But again, there's lots of other stuff to get excited about too. So if you're on the fence there, I think that's fair as well. Green Bay plus 2.5 against the Colts. So there's a lot of noise about the Colts defense, and that's fair. I think what we want to look at, however, is that the Colts defense really hasn't played that many strong teams. They're ranked really well against the run and the pass. They're an overall defense top 5 in the league. Fair. And Green Bay struggles with good defenses. So you could see a lot of people saying, hey, Rodgers is going to struggle again. For me, Colts are a bit overrated. Then when the machine likes it, I like it. Give me the Packers plus 2.5. Give me Rodgers with points. I mean, God, that feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Rodgers with points, it's hard for that not to feel good. So that one for me was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I like that.
Give me that one. Yeah, so give me New England here. This is a B. Give me New England -2. Houston is a terrible football team with an absolutely terrible run defense. New England is going to run all over these guys. I don't care that they're on the road. Give me New England. For me, this one's a pretty straightforward slam dunk. They're just going to run all over them. Houston can't stop anybody running the ball. I mean, it's just, yeah. New England's sort of an enigma. I mean, I've been getting New England wrong. I'll admit it. I've been getting New England wrong a lot this year. You don't know which team is going to show up, but they can beat the Ravens, or they can almost lose to the Jets. You just don't know. But what I like is the matchup on the ground. So give me New England here, and it's a B. I know I'm good with B's too. A's and B's have all been performing really well. So I'm following the grades. I'm learning. It's slow for me, but I'm learning how good these grades really are. Last week, unfortunately, we didn't have our show, but I completely smashed last week, and I stuck with a lot of the good grades. So I'm going to continue to do that again. So here with Philadelphia and Cleveland, look, I mean, this is one where we're going to have some sort of middling grades here. We do have a couple of Bs. I think the Bs are certainly reasonable. I do have some concerns with Philadelphia as a team. I have some concerns with the amount of turnovers that we're seeing coming from Carson Wentz, and Cleveland's ability to run the ball is they're going to be very problematic. So the A here is the under, and I think this is very reasonable. I think it's a close call for me. So I'm not in love with it, but I have, in terms of my picks that are on SK now, I have taken this under, but I would say use some caution here in this game. It does have the potential to be one of those games that is feels to me a little bit hard to predict. And I could also see if somebody was interested in Cleveland, I wouldn't fault anybody for that either, with how much the Eagles are turning the ball over and very mediocre. So Philadelphia could have its hands full. If Philadelphia struggles to score, then this under will be a very, very strong bet.
You can see based on the energy bar here that the predicted win percentage for the over is 55%. You can see it's a little cut off there. And you can see the over is obviously the inverse of that, 45%. So
right. So the under is at 55 win, and the over is at 45.
Yeah, which is a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
Yeah,
it's a big difference.
So cool.
So yeah, I mean, this one's if you've got nerves to steal, give me Jacksonville and the points. I mean, historically, Pittsburgh as a double-digit favorite has performed horribly. As a double-digit favorite, they have maybe covered one in, I think it's something like 12 or 13 spreads. They lost a couple games outright. historically as an outright, as a double-digit favorite. Um, so yeah, but you'd have to have some nerves here because Pittsburgh's pass rush is pretty outstanding, and we've got a fairly mediocre quarterback here slash bad quarterback in Jacksonville, and that could lead to turnovers. This could be a bad situation. But if we also look at what Jacksonville has done, trending in terms of covering, they've been doing quite well. They almost beat Green Bay. I mean, they've been covering. So, proceed with caution, but this is a lot of points, and I get taking this many points in an NFL game, no matter who's playing, right? I mean, wouldn't you agree on that point?
Yeah, it's a lot of points. And if, look too, if Pittsburgh goes up a touchdown or two in the beginning, this will move to like 20 plus. And then that's a great number to get on like live spread value,
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you can see that the profitability is reflected in the win percentage. We're giving this like a 55% chance, whereas this is a 45% chance to cover, which again is a lot of, like, that's 5 points positive for the A here, and that's just a lot. So it's a great spot for the Jags, and look for them to have some value in the live in-game stuff too.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I think we should definitely feature live in our next, we'll lead the next show with some tutorials on live, how to get notifications on live value. It's one of the most profitable things you can be doing as a member on this site. The other thing that struck me as interesting here, Charles, is Pittsburgh at minus 556 is only a B here. And that could be associated with it. That's not a very profitable price. But the win percentage is very high. So that may be strictly about the price that is knocking that down from an A, because it's just not much value in it. And that's probably why, but interesting, I thought, that the against the spread is an A, and Pittsburgh winning as such a big favorite wasn't as well. So I thought that was interesting, but
yeah, it's tough to be profitable at that.
Yeah, it's probably price related, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that one's not one I'm recommending at all. That price is no good. Yeah, so I love the machines, man. I love all these picks that are in these A's against the spread here, with the proceed from cautions, which I mentioned, of course, earlier. But Tennessee +6 all day, man. I love this one. Derrick Henry's totally due to regress towards positive. He's been having some tough sledding running the ball. And as Derrick Henry runs and how Tennessee's running game goes, that's how Tennessee goes. Baltimore's really struggling. I think these are two very comparable football teams, and give me all the points all day long here. So I'm a big fan of this Tennessee +6.
Yeah, I like it too. Another great spot for live spread value if Baltimore gets a couple quick touchdowns or something crazy. Titans +20 is like a smash, of course.
So for me, I'd stay away from this one here, the A. I mean, it's not necessarily a terrible per se, but because we could have both situations. We could certainly have Tennessee lose the game and cover these 6 points. But to have a price at 278 here, I'm looking at the Baltimore money line, Charles, minus 278 just doesn't feel like there's much value in it in terms of an ROI there. So I'm not really on that. Next one is Chargers Broncos. I mean, bet at your own risk here. We talked about this last time. The Chargers are like my kryptonite. They will find a way to lose this game 9 times out of 10. There's a lot of buzz in quarterback Herbert for the Chargers is going to have a breakout game, and the Broncos are terrible. All of this is true, and all of this is very reasonable, but give me a stay away here. I'm not interested. Which one is that? Is there now? Let me understand. Which one do we have here? Is the Broncos?
Looks like I think it's actually this one, right? Looks like we got a dupe Chargers in there. I'll have to look at that. But I think the Chargers are playing the Jets now.
Because I mean, I don't take away anything I said about that game, but I don't think that's the game they're playing. Aren't they playing the Jets?
Yeah, it's this one.
Okay, so yeah. So here in this particular spot, I like the Jets points.
Yeah, it's the kind of two low grades here. Not low, but medium excited here. B's on the Jets, both the money line and the spread.
Yeah, I would just say at the end of the day, being the Chargers, I think the Jets can score some points. The Chargers defense is not anything what they appeared to be when the season started. There's a lot of points, but it's not a high grade. It's not an A, so we don't have to go too nuts on it. But that's just my personal take on that. So Miami, I'll tell you, this is moved away because Miami started. I think this opened at -1. I think this opened at -1. So now Miami's -3.5. The money line also price had moved a lot at this point. So if you got in on Miami earlier in the week, I'm a big fan of that bet. Right now, these grades aren't really thrilling, so I didn't really do too much with it. There's not too much that stands out, but earlier in the week, Miami, I think, is very strong. I think Miami wins this game. Denver's got to have its hands full here. Miami's been playing good. Defense is good. They're young, fast. Denver's in a tough spot here, even at home. Give me Miami, but let's keep moving because I don't know if there's too many things to be too excited about there.
Vikings, Cowboys. I love this under. This is a great under.
I love that under too. Yeah. Love it. That's a slam dunk. Love that under. Dallas is going to struggle. Minnesota wants to play slow, run the ball. Yeah.
Way too many points there.
That's a lot of points. Yeah, totally. That one stood out to me. Machines have got it as an A. And I like that. I love when the machines have an A. Just gives me more confidence that the way I'm seeing something. It's just that reassurance. So I totally agree with you there. Love that one. Kansas City, Oakland. So the only proceed with caution, I would say, in this particular spot with Oakland against the spread is Oakland played a world-class game against Kansas City last time around. This is the second time they're seeing each other. Kansas City is going to be out for blood. They're well rested. Honestly, that's not the world's worst price in the world. It's not my favorite price. It's not a ton to be gained at -270, but look at that win percentage there. It's 79. And that's how I see it too. I mean, I think Kansas City's going to come out here and teach Oakland a lesson. Last time, good for you, but we don't play that. And they're going to beat them up pretty good here. So I would be concerned. That would be not concerned. My proceed with caution for this one is against the spread for Oakland. I know it's an A. Machines are smarter than me. I get it, but proceed with caution there. Kansas City's coming back on a revenge spot here, I think.
Yeah, this one's got such a high total too. It leaves the door open for a lot of live value in the game. So, this is a good one to kind of just watch and let go and kind of come in the second.
Yeah, come in on the live. And I wouldn't fault anybody to take an under now or stay on both the totals on live value. 57's a ton. This is 2 times these teams are seeing each other. The second time they see each other, we always, historically, we talked about this last video, historically we see lower scoring. 57 is quite a number here for a division game where they're seeing each other for the second time. So I wouldn't fault anybody for going with that B, but Chuck's idea is good as well for live value. Stick with it, see what's going on in the early parts of the game, and then the value should open up if there is any.
And the last one on the slate this week, Monday night, Rams at Bucks. Yeah,
let me say one thing quickly, that something Chuck and I have tried as much as we could to a rule or an idea is to be careful and conservative with primetime games. primetime games tend to be more difficult to predict. They tend to have, for whatever reason, and I'm sure there's tons of reasons why you could come up with it, but just the point is, proceed with caution in primetime. I think that's a general rule that we've liked to follow, and I think that it's fair. Doesn't mean that there aren't value, doesn't mean primetime games don't have tremendous value, either pre-game or in live, for live value. That can certainly be the case, but more often than not, the games that are played at 1 and 4:30 are a bit easier to get right, we have found, in our experiences together. So with that said, give me Los Angeles here with the points. I think it's a close game. I think it's a really close game. And if I had to take one, I would take Rams against the spread. And yeah, I think, you know, we talk about prime time. I mean, the Bucks have I've been on the Bucks a couple of times in prime time, and that's blown up in my face. Bucks have been playing terrible in prime time. Weird things happen. So, you know, those games are always a little bit. So you want to go with primetime games? Great, go for it. Perhaps, you know, looking at your bankroll, it's lower percentages, or you're taking a little bit more of a conservative line to protect against the high variable nature that these games end up, you know, those are the results that we end up seeing.
All right. So
how do we do on time? Better this time, Charles?
What's that?
Are we doing better on time?
Yes, much better.
Good.
So I collected 7 picks or so that we tried to make together here. Does it just give it a quick once over, make sure it looks decent? So we get the Rams. We're doing it kind of in reverse chronological order, but Rams point spread, Cowboys Vikings under.
Yeah, we love that.
Jacksonville point spread, Eagles Browns under, Packers point spread, New England point spread, Saints point spread.
Yeah, I think there may be a couple others in there that if we look back at the pick sheet that we touched on, but I think all of those are definitely ones we touched on. And there may be a couple others that we can circle back and add in for people to follow if they would like that.
Yeah, and you got to you did really well last week. I know you kind of mentioned it briefly, but I think we were 6-2 or 7-2 last week with our NFL picks, which, you know,
that was strong.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a very strong week. So, you know, follow that up with some more strength and keep it rolling.
Yeah, NFL's hard. You know, that's why we let out with our college football picks, which are going completely ham. So, not to take anything away from NFL, we love it. There's tons of value, but if you want to follow something that is really, really, really performing well right now, definitely check in on that because if you were betting this the whole way, you know, you'd be on the beach. You wouldn't be watching this to be on the beach drinking margaritas.
Yeah.
So cool, man. Yeah, I love doing this. I hope it's helpful for people. I'd love to get feedback. You know, what else can we do? Get more picks right. We'll definitely accept that feedback as well. And we're going to keep working hard and trying to make sure everybody's getting the value and aware of, you know, where the value lies and how to make money with spread knowledge.
Yeah, thank you for your help in continuing to support this kind of live stream initiative that we have going on. So good luck to all the members this weekend. Hopefully everyone has a strong weekend, and, you know, thanks again for everyone's support out there. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Good luck to everybody this week, and we'll see you next week.
You can work on your accent for next week.
I will work on that. I'm going to get a linguistic coach or something.
Maybe Mitch will pay for it for you.
He should. Buddy. He's rich. Okay.
Have a good weekend, everyone. See you next week, hopefully. See ya.
See ya.